My in-laws showed up with a lawyer demanding custody of my daughter 2 weeks after my husband died, claiming I was an unfit mother, so I gave them exactly what they wanted. My husband David passed suddenly from a brain aneurysm when our daughter Emma was 3 years old. One moment he was fine, laughing at breakfast. 8 hours later, he was gone. The funeral was a blur of tears and condolences and people I barely recognized. His parents, Rachel and Tom, flew in from Arizona and stayed at our house for a week. At first, they seemed supportive. Rachel cooked meals I couldn't eat. Tom handled phone calls I couldn't face. But something felt wrong from the start. They kept pulling Emma away from me during the funeral reception, taking her to different rooms for private conversations. Rachel photographed everything. Emma standing alone, her unmade bed, dishes in my sink. Tom measured Emma against door frames with his phone out, documenting her height like he was cataloging evidence. 2 weeks after the funeral, they showed up at my door unannounced. Tom carried a manila folder thick with papers. They sat me down at my kitchen table and slid it across. Custody papers. They were seeking full custody of Emma. I read words that didn't make sense. Unfit mother, consumed by grief, unable to provide stable environment. Their proof was attached. Photos of our messy house during the funeral reception. A statement from Rachel claiming I'd abandoned Emma with them for hours while at the funeral home. Screenshots of me crying in the grocery store while Emma played on my phone. They'd been building a case since David died. Tom leaned forward and said Emma belonged with blood family now, that I was temporary, just the woman who gave birth. Rachel said David would want his daughter raised by people who understood his legacy. Their lawyer said if I cooperated and signed over custody, they'd allow supervised visits once monthly. If I fought them, I'd never see Emma again. I told them to get out. Rachel's face hardened. She said I'd be hearing from child services. She was right. The next day, CPS showed up. Rachel had filed a report claiming I was drunk and Emma was in danger. The social worker found me sober, building blocks with Emma. Our house was clean. Emma was happy, but the calls kept coming. Every few days, another complaint. I was on drugs. Emma had bruises. Strange men were around. Each investigation found nothing, but the scrutiny was crushing. Rachel and Tom showed up during visits, playing concerned grandparents, offering to take Emma for her safety. The custody hearing got scheduled. Rachel and Tom hired 3 lawyers and a private investigator who followed me everywhere. They contacted Emma's daycare claiming they were emergency contacts now. They told our pediatrician I was unstable. They redecorated David's childhood bedroom as Emma's princess room, posting photos on Facebook like it was decided. I was drowning. My lawyer said their case was aggressive and well-funded. I might lose. That's when I remembered something David told me 6 months before he died. Something his family kept hidden. Rachel had been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, moderate stage, progressing fast. David had been heartbroken, made me promise not to tell anyone because his mother was ashamed. I had the neurologist's name. David had shown me paperwork when struggling with whether to move them closer for care. I submitted everything to the court. Rachel's medical records, doctor's notes documenting memory lapses and confusion, neuropsychological evaluations showing significant impairment, her own physicians stating she required full-time oversight. The hearing arrived. Rachel and Tom sat with their 3 lawyers looking confident. The judge reviewed the medical evidence with his mouth pressed thin. Then he looked at Rachel and asked her to name Emma's pediatrician. Rachel's face went blank. She couldn't answer. He asked what allergies Emma had. Rachel guessed peanuts, voice uncertain. Emma's allergic to strawberries. He asked Emma's birthday. Rachel said March, then hesitated. Emma was born in October. The courtroom went silent. Tom tried grabbing Rachel's hand, but the damage was done. Their lead lawyer stood up, gathered his papers without a word, and walked out mid-hearing. The judge dismissed the custody petition immediately and granted me a permanent restraining order, stating that 2 people who cannot remember basic facts about a child, and one of whom is medically documented as cognitively impaired, are fundamentally unfit for custody. Emma's 7 now and doesn't remember them at all.